Welcome to the deep dive.
Glad to be diving in.
So today, we're sort of pushing aside the usual brochures, the ones for those established retirement places in the West.
Yeah,
We're definitely looking east. Because honestly, with all the global financial shifts happening, Asia is looking like a genuine, well, beacon of opportunity.
that's a perfect way to put it. That economic uncertainty worldwide. It means retirees are looking for leverage, financial leverage, and Asia really delivers that.
Right.
And our source material today, it isn't just like a list of nice places. It really gets into the mechanics.
Nuts and bolts.
Exactly. The
Yep.
cost, the logistics, the healthcare picture, all the things that make 2025 potentially the year to, pivot your retirement strategy.
Okay, so our mission here is practical. We want to extract the actual actionable knowledge you need
Mm-hmm.
to get past the, oh, wouldn't be nice stage
Mm-hmm.
and into the real planning. What does it actually take? How much money do you really need? And maybe most importantly, what are those non-negotiable hurdles? The logistics.
Okay, so if you're building that checklist right now, here's a quick preview. The financial leverage, especially in Southeast Asia, it's pretty staggering.
Yeah.
But that value, well, it comes with complexities. You'll find healthcare options that vary, sure, but often they're excellent. However, the real success of your move, it absolutely hinges on navigating the, let's say, dense landscape of visas and taxes.
It sounds like homework is required. Okay, let's unpack this a bit.
Right.
We know the bottom line, the cost is a huge draw. But let's start with the lifestyle piece. Why do people actually fall in love with living in Asia?
I think it's the sheer range. You're basically trading potential monotony for real dynamism. You
Mhm.
can find, well, pretty much anything. High-energy city life if you want it, or super tranquil mountain retreats, or, of course, those stunning tropical beaches.
Right.
But the thing that seems consistent, the underlying appeal, is that deep history, the living traditions, and, honestly, the legendary warmth and respect often shown to elders and, well, visitors alike.
So the culture is kind of the soft benefit, a huge one, but
Right.
still. Financially, though, this is where it gets really interesting, I think.
Definitely.
Our sources really stress this is a massive economic spectrum we're talking about, not just one single market.
Absolutely not.
And the data seems clear. If you want the absolute top-tier highest end,
Yeah.
you're probably looking at somewhere like Singapore.
Right. Singapore is, it's the outlier in this discussion, cost-wise.
Yeah.
The research suggests for a comfortable retirement for a single person, you're looking at maybe around $4,000 a month on average.
Wow.
And you're paying for things like unparalleled safety, incredible infrastructure, world-class everything, really. But it's a premium. It's a Western-level cost.
Okay, so that's a good benchmark for the high end. But what about the other side of the coin? We've all seen these almost unbelievable figures quoted for some spots, these true retirement havens.
And that's the financial leverage we were talking about. That's what we're chasing here. So contrast Singapore with, say, a place like Chiang Mai in Thailand. The source material consistently indicates you can live a remarkably comfortable life there for maybe as little as $500 a month.
500. That's incredible.
The difference is just staggering, isn't it?
But how is that even possible? I mean, usually that kind of massive cost reduction means a serious drop in quality of life. Right. Or access to things you need. What's the economic mechanism there? How can places like Chiang Mai be so affordable?
Well, it's complex, obviously, but a really key factor, especially in Southeast Asia, is how housing costs are suppressed, particularly for long-term renters.
Ah, renting. Okay.
Yeah. In many of these countries, there are pretty strict limits, sometimes outright barriers, to foreigners owning property.
Right, I heard that.
So that effectively removes a lot of foreign investment capital from the buying market for real estate, which means the local rental economy stays incredibly favorable, especially once you get outside the main capital cities.
So expats benefit from local rental rates.
Exactly. You're often renting really excellent, sometimes brand new accommodation, but at rates that locals can actually afford. And that just massively drags down that overall monthly living cost figure.
So you're not necessarily sacrificing lifestyle, you're just slotting into a uniquely favorable rental market.
Precisely. And we should definitely mention Vietnam, too. The sources consistently flag Vietnam as one of the most affordable overall options. Monthly expenses often coming in, comfortably under $1,000.
Wow.
That level of cost reduction. It isn't just about saving a bit of money. For some people, it could potentially mean retiring like a decade earlier than planned.
That's life-changing potential right there.
Yeah.
Okay, we've talked about the money, making it work financially. Let's tackle the big one, the elephant in the room, perhaps, what happens when things go wrong, medically speaking?
Yeah, critical question.
Healthcare is arguably the most critical piece for long-term planning. And we know quality can vary, well, dramatically across Asia.
It does vary, and it raises a really important point because you're often dealing with sort of two parallel systems.
Okay.
You've got the general public health systems, which, might still be developing in some areas. And then you have these often world-class, private, internationally accredited facilities, usually concentrated in the major cities.
Right.
Countries like Singapore, for instance, are just globally renowned for excellence in healthcare.
I know medical tourism is absolutely huge in Asia.
Mm-hmm.
People flying in for like elective surgeries, dental work.
Huge industry.
But is that model sustainable if you live there for things like, I don't know, daily insulin needs or ongoing cancer treatment or just chronic conditions that need consistent local care? Or is medical tourism really just for, say, getting a knee replaced?
That's the necessary distinction, isn't it? Medical tourism, it typically relies on paying out of pocket, right? For high-quality care, yes, but at lower rates than you'd pay back home, say in North America or Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And that model works perfectly well for planned things, elective procedures, maybe one-off major events.
Yeah.
But the sources are pretty clear. Relying on that pay-as-you-go model for chronic, day-to-day, ongoing care, that's likely unsustainable and could get very expensive very quickly.
So for the successful long-term retiree, the goal isn't just finding a cheap place for a one-off surgery.
No.
It's actually integrating into a local system somehow.
Precisely. The real goal should be finding a destination where the private hospitals meet your standards and, crucially, where there are pathways to get decent, long-term, local, private health insurance, something that actually covers chronic conditions.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because the sources emphasize, even though that high-quality care might be available at a fraction of Western costs, if you're planning to live there for 10, 20 years, you need reliable insurance coverage, not just, a travel budget set aside for medical emergencies.
That's a really key planning point.
Mm-hmm.
Insurance, not just cost. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. From the sort of macro analysis down to the specifics. Our sources highlighted 6 standout destinations, each one catering to slightly different preferences and, maybe most importantly, different budgets.
Yeah, these are sort of the starting points for anyone doing their research.
Exactly.
And we should probably go beyond just the postcard descriptions here, talk about the specific appeal for expats, why these places work on the ground.
Good idea. So, starting with the Philippines, it's obviously known for stunning beaches, right? And it's exceptionally affordable, especially once you get outside Manila.
Definitely.
Key expat hubs, places like Dumaguete, they offer a really low cost of living and, importantly, a very easy transition because English is so widely spoken.
That helps enormously.
And the ease of getting the Special Resident Retirees visa, the SRRV they call it, that seems like a massive practical draw.
It is. Then you've got Thailand, often seen as like the gold standard. It has really established expat communities.
Yeah, very popular.
It offers that great blend of affordability, natural beauty, and a pretty robust framework for long-stay folks over 50. And specific areas attract different types, right? Hua Hin, for example, is super popular with golfers, people wanting a quieter coastal town.
Right.
While Chiang Mai up north offers more of that sort of intellectual, tranquil mountain atmosphere.
Got it. Next up, Vietnam. The low cost of living is the big headline there.
Always.
But the developing infrastructure and, my goodness, the incredible food, they're just as important.
Can't forget the food.
We're seeing huge growth in places like Da Nang, apparently.
Yeah.
Offers fantastic beaches, friendly people, and it feels relatively modern. So it's attractive if you want that development combined with, cultural immersion.
Right. And for retirees maybe looking for city living, but combined with deep culture and affordability, Malaysia is quite a unique option.
How so?
Well, specifically Georgetown in Penang gets highlighted a lot. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So you get amazing architecture, that famous street food culture, modern amenities, but all wrapped up in a city that still feels kind of manageable, almost like a large village in feel.
Interesting blend. Okay, and then there's the perennial favorite, Indonesia, specifically Bali, of course.
Of course. Bali, the tropical paradise dream.
Yeah. It seems to sit somewhere in the middle, cost-wise. Not quite as cheap as Chiang Mai, maybe, but definitely way cheaper than the West.
That sounds about right. And areas like Ubud, known for arts and wellness, and Seminyak, maybe a bit more upscale beach life, they're firmly established as major expat magnets. for people prioritizing that particular lifestyle.
Okay. And finally, we circle back to Singapore.
The premium choice.
Exactly. As the premium option, it attracts retirees who are prioritizing, say, stability and top-notch infrastructure over rock-bottom costs.
Huh?
That unparalleled safety record, the modern city feel, plus that world-class healthcare system we mentioned, it makes it the strategic choice for, perhaps, higher net worth individuals who just want ultimate convenience and basically zero bureaucratic friction.
If the budget allows, it offers a lot.
Okay, this feels like the planning imperative section. The lifestyle, the cost savings, they're kind of meaningless if you can't legally stay long-term.
Absolutely.
Or, worse, if you suddenly find yourself subject to some kind of punitive international tax situation you didn't expect.
Nightmare scenario.
So we really have to pay close attention here to visa rules and tax laws. And the key thing is, they differ significantly across every single country we just talked about.
Massively. You really have to approach this part like a strategist, not like a tourist just passing through.
Right.
Let's start with visas and maybe detail some of the tangible commitments involved. Go beyond just naming the visa type.
Okay, good idea. Give us a concrete example. What's, say, a manageable visa commitment look like?
Well, Thailand's retirement visa, the OA visa, it's pretty straightforward for people over 50, but here's the crucial nugget, the financial requirement. You generally have to show proof of income, like a pension, of at least 65,000 Thai baht a month. Or, alternatively, you need to maintain a deposit of 800,000 Thai baht, that's roughly 22,000 US dollars in a Thai bank account, for the whole time you're on that visa.
Okay, so that's the barrier to entry. A specific financial proof point you need to plan for potentially every year.
Exactly. It's a commitment.
And you mentioned the SRV in the Philippines earlier. What's the real commitment involved there? Is it similar?
That one's often more of an investment pathway. So while it does simplify residency, the SRV typically requires you to deposit capital. It can range from $10,000 up to maybe $50,000 US, depending on your age and whether you have a guaranteed pension coming in.
So it's accessible, but it's still a serious financial commitment. It ties up capital.
It does. And you need to figure out if your overall retirement strategy can accommodate locking up that amount of cash.
Okay. And meanwhile, countries like Singapore, Vietnam, as we noted, they often lack specific, dedicated retirement visas.
That's the challenge there, yeah. Singapore and Vietnam, they often require you to find alternative routes, maybe investment programs, which can have high minimums, or sometimes even securing long-term employment status, which obviously isn't ideal if you're actually retired.
Right.
So for those places, you could say the logistical difficulty is kind of proportional to how stable or economically attractive they seem. Generally, the easier the visa process, maybe the less developed the overall economic infrastructure might be. It's a trade-off.
Makes sense. Okay, let's switch to taxes. This feels like it could really make or break the financial viability of the whole thing.
It absolutely can.
We need to understand this difference between worldwide tax systems and territorial tax systems.
Yes, this is a real deep dive nugget here. So a worldwide income tax system. That means the country you're living in taxes your income regardless of where it's earned.
So your foreign pension, dividends from back home, maybe distributions from a U.S.-based IRA, they tax all of it?
Potentially, yes. They claim the right to tax your global income. A territorial system, however, is different. It generally only taxes income that is sourced within that country, income earned locally.
Okay, so why does that matter so much for, say, a North American retiree moving to Asia?
Oh, it matters immensely, because a territorial system can offer tremendous financial freedom, potentially.
How so?
Well, think about it like this. If your retirement income is coming from, say, a U.S.-based 401k or an IRA, and it's distributed directly into your U.S. bank account.
Okay.
And crucially, that money never physically touches a bank account in your new country of residence, let's say Malaysia or Thailand, which often have territorial aspects for foreign income. Then that destination country often treats that foreign-sourced income as effectively invisible. They don't tax it.
Wow. So that dramatically increases your effective retirement income, potentially.
Hugely. That distinction, territorial versus worldwide, can literally determine whether retiring to that specific country is financially viable for you or not. If you overlook this detail, you could easily face double taxation.
Ouch.
Yeah. Failure to really thoroughly research the specific bilateral tax treaties between your home country and your chosen Asian haven, and understanding the rules governing foreign source income specifically, that is probably the single greatest administrative risk in these plans.
So the takeaway is thorough research, maybe even professional advice. It's absolutely crucial here. Non-negotiable for a smooth transition.
Absolutely non-negotiable. Hashtag tag outro. So to kind of synthesize all this, the primary advantage of retiring in Asia, it's undeniable, really. Financial freedom combined with this incredibly rich cultural experience.
Yeah.
But as we've seen, your planning has got to be strategic. You have to be smart about it. Remember those financial extremes we talked about?
Right, the $500 versus $4,000 a month example.
Exactly. Your choice of location fundamentally dictates whether you need $500 a month or maybe $4,000 a month to live comfortably. Location is everything in that respect.
So what does this all really mean for you, the listener, the planner, as you maybe move towards actually doing this? We talked about that necessary shift, right, from just thinking about cheap medical tourism to actually securing sustainable, local, long-term healthcare and insurance. So here's maybe the final provocative thought for you to chew on. If your chosen retirement haven, say Thailand or the Philippines, requires you to lock up significant capital, like that $22,000 deposit for the Thai OA visa, or the investment needed for the Philippine SRRV.
Yeah, that tied-up capital.
How does dedicating that chunk of your liquidity purely to visa compliance affect your overall financial emergency fund strategy, your safety net? That feels like the next layer of really strategic planning required to truly secure those golden years abroad.
That's a fantastic point. It's not just about meeting the visa rule. It's about how meeting it impacts everything else in your financial plan.
Yeah.
Plan strategically, calculate those liquidity needs really meticulously.
Yeah.
And then that financial freedom Asia offers, it really does beckon.
Great insights. We'll see you on the next deep dive.